Good evening. This is the Harbor and Shellfish Advisory Board, Tuesday, March 3rd, 2026. I'd like to call to order this meeting at 5:03 PM. Do we have approval of this evening's agenda?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion's made by Mr. Anderson to approve tonight's agenda, seconded by Mr. Sherwin. All in favor, Mr. Anderson?
Aye.
Mr. Sherwin?
Aye.
Ms. Mayo?
Aye.
Mr. Brace?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Has everyone seen the draft minutes for February 17th? Any revisions to suggest? Or a motion to approve?
Motion to approve as submitted.
Second.
Motion's made by Mr. Anderson, seconded by Mr. Sherwin to approve the draft minutes of February 17th, 2026. All in favor, Mr. Anderson?
Aye.
Mr. Sherwin?
Aye.
Ms. Mayo?
Aye.
Mr. Brace?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Do we have anything from staff, Marine Department or Natural Resources?
Is she here from Tara at all?
No, no,
I didn't hear that she wouldn't be here,
right,
so
all right.
she's not in the queue.
All right, well, we'll move straight up to old business, general chapter 91 licensing. Requirements, compliance, oversight. And in this discussion, we'll also cover the safe transfer of diesel fuel and volume from truck to boat by commercial fishermen. And Mr. Brace has provided us with an email, a copy of an email sent from Mr. Stephen Crease from the Great Harbor Yacht Club. Quite in detail. Has everybody had a chance to review it? Anybody want to open up with any discussion on this? Just looking through it. Yes, Mr. Anderson.
I'm just looking at, from the insurance perspective, they said they are insurance advisors, which are basically insurance agents. It's not the insurance company. And I know there's a lot of markets out there because when I was in that business, I had a lot of, terminal tank business. I also had a lot of fuel oil dealers and gas companies.
Just to clarify, Mr. Anderson, you're talking about insurance.
Insurance.
For, fueling boats.
For fueling boats,
Thank you.
on page 2, where Stephen responds, we've been in contact with our insurance advisor. And as I suspected, we are not able to fuel trucks to boats for a number of reasons. And I still don't think that's an adequate response to me, knowing I've gone through that. I mean, the fact that nobody wants to deliver the fuel, that's a problem.
Hmm.
The insurance aspect is overcomable if we can understand what they're pushing back on.
Mhm.
Because I guarantee you can get a Lloyd's market to do this. Whether it's cost effective or prohibitive is another question.
And
Don't you think they do this on the other side all the time?
Yeah,
Why is it such a big deal here?
because nobody wants to do it. Probably.
My take is there's not enough money in
Yeah.
it to offset some of the costs, but I think there's ways around that.
well, I'm curious if it's not already covered.
The Sun Island used to have the insurance to do it. I don't know if they do anymore, or the license to do it.
Mhm.
short of getting their insurance policies and reading, we don't know.
Sure.
right.
So-
Maybe the next time you're on Cape, you could,
I can make a couple phone calls.
yeah,
I mean, it is kind of crazy that it's like required in their chapter 91 license that they provide this, but they don't.
Mhm.
It basically says that they don't want to, but
Yeah,
I mean, that's what,
it was supposed to be in place when they started,
right.
anyway.
And, as far as, I've tried to meet with Dennis. On several occasions I've driven out there and, he's out on deliveries early in the morning. Tried again this morning and he was not there. And, basically the only way to talk with him is to find him personally. And, just kind of try to open a conversation about how the fishermen could possibly line up in a way, one day a week, be prepared at the same hour, and he could fill everybody that's interested in being filled that way at the same time. And if fishermen can't make it to that time, then so be it. At least try to make an attempt for whether it be a once a week type of thing. I'm not sure, but I guess, you have to hear more from fishermen, how many would be interested. Bob mentioned how, where he rents his berth from the boat basin, he felt he's in a way obligated to buy from the boat basin. At least a majority of the time, I imagine if he's close enough to the Cape, he's gonna fill over there before coming home. But we do have how many charter fishing boats staged up at the town pier, probably 4 or 5.
Yeah, I came up with probably 15, at least 15 boats that would use the service,
Really?
or that may use it at different time depending on.
You're including boats that stay in the boat basin as well.
Yeah, I mean, because sometimes they might need fuel the next day, but the boat base is closed already.
Yeah.
Or whatever, or
Yeah.
they don't,
Yeah.
whatever the situation may be.
Okay,
So, Mr. Chairman, I
yeah,
don't think we ever discussed establishing a fueling station. And so it's like third to the last point. If a fueling station was established at GHYC, the cost of blah, 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 blah. We only ever wanted a truck to just show up and fuel a boat.
Mhm.
And so both organizations declined to perform any fueling at 96 Washington Street, citing the amount of time required and the amount of insurance they would have to maintain. So we should find out from the companies on the mainland that do it, what their insurance rates are. So we could then go to those guys and say, look, here's some options for you.
I mean, I guess if neither one wants to do it, then nobody wants to do it, but.
Right.
right. Well, and then is there, do we fall back on, doing it yourself? Having that tank in the back of your truck for,
to me, having it in the back of your truck is riskier for the
Certainly.
harbor than it is having a guy who's probably equipped with the pads and everything to come and do it.
Mhm. Well, I would like to think that if somebody's going to do that, like we spoke about at a previous meeting, that, we would create a requirement that the spill gear needs to be, in person and on site. Mr. Brace, to possibly address, operating a fueling station would most likely interfere with FBW launching and hauling operation due to lack of waterfront space. He's probably covering all bases by adding this line. Whereas the shipyard had a fueling station there. It's very possible during the time of their permitting before Great Harbor Yacht Club, even, broke ground, that, operating a fueling station was part of the conversation way back then. And what the outcome of that conversation was, maybe Mr. Franzuto would know, but, excuse me, but, uh, that's what was there, and wouldn't that be, extremely convenient if they continued to have a fueling station there?
I'm wondering. Um. Where is the, boat basin fueling station get their fuel from? Who do they buy it from?
Harbor fuel.
So Harbor Fuel wouldn't be inclined to then go fuel down at
Correct.
Great Harbor Yacht Club.
I was
It's
thinking,
cheap,
I was thinking the same thing.
so there's that.
Well,
Might be. Jim, you're in Maine a fair bit, so you're familiar with the Island Institute.
Heard of them.
You heard of them?
Yeah.
So they're an advocate for. The 15 islands that have year-round communities in Maine as well as coastal Maine. And they are a liaison between, those communities and state government and federal government. And they have various programs. One program is, a fund, an endowment that helps small communities get a hold of, or retain, working waterfront. So maybe I can call them and explain our issue to them and see if there's a way that the people in these communities will solve this. Maybe it's a fuel dock and there's always a fuel dock, or maybe it's I don't know. Might be worth it. I know from Vinyl Haven, when you come in on the ferry in the harbor, it's a complete opposite of what you see in Nantucket Harbor. When you come in Nantucket Harbor, it's 98% pleasure boats. When you come into Vinyl Haven, it's all lobster boats. There's only 5 moorings that are rented for recreational boats. I mean, it's, you come in and if the wind is from the west, then you're looking at boats facing you, fishing boats. And they have a fuel dock, so. But maybe working waterfronts. I don't know. Love to know what the insurance rates are for. Jim, you said there was like a couple of companies that do it, or 2 or 3 companies on the Cape.
For fuel,
Yeah.
there's the big one's, Canal Fuel. Or Monway, I think it's bought by Canal now, but there's one in Provincetown too, I believe. There's at least 3.
I mean, reading this, it just seems to say that the Great Harbor Yacht Club doesn't want the messy ickiness of fishermen coming near there. I mean, I'm sorry that listening to us, but just seems like pushing back on working waterfront.
Honestly, I believe it's safe to say that's the trend, island wide. Like you said, you pull into the harbor, you see 95% or more, probably 99% pleasure boats when you pull into the harbor, and we're no longer a working waterfront. A working waterfront doesn't have a clean appearance, so we're more interested in attracting tourism, which would not have smelly fishing boats included in it. So that trend is pretty much been completed. So
But
I have a problem with that to the extent that the heritage and everything about this island is fishing, whaling,
yeah,
Yeah,
ocean, water. And
Yeah.
things. So to carve out like how it all began
Mhm.
and not be able to provide fuel to those people who are left to do. Like, everybody's out there orders fish when they go to the market or when they go to a restaurant. How are they gonna get it?
right, right.
I ship it from the mainland.
Oh, yeah. Why is it? I know.
That's where it all comes from.
Yeah,
My question is, on the map here with the permit to the DEP and everything, it shows there is a fuel pump, or there was a fuel pump back in 2008. Is that still there?
No,
That's
they
not
took
there.
that out and they redid the,
And they stripped all the lines and tanks and everything else?
yeah, yeah. Certainly the tanks wouldn't have met today's standards. And but I think it's really safe to say that this was part of discussion during their permitting process. Because honestly, that was a popular place to go for boaters to fuel. Most recreational boaters, smaller boats would go over to the boatyard to fill because fuel was cheaper there. And the pump was right up against the back of the building, and they had a very long hose on the nozzle, dragged it across the paved area there. It was probably dirt at the time, and all the way down to the side of your boat where you'd fill. I can remember going there as 14, 15 years old, filling the tanks in my boat. So, of course, a larger boat without dredging, they have difficulty there, but I mean, they're hauling out boats, up to 40, 45 feet anyway, if not larger. Some of the sailboats they pull are even larger, so they have depth there.
they had all the 47-foot Coast Guard boat there.
Yeah. Amazing. Okay,
So maybe halfway down on the first page. Great Every Yacht Club never declined a request from the FPW to effect emergency marine repairs on members or non-members vessel. FPW uses discretion in determining what constitutes an emergency repair. Routine boat painting, bottom painting, maintenance, fiberglass repair, so it does not constitute an emergency. And so Bobby had that example of whoever the guy was who's
That was Brian, the prop.
called it something else. Yeah, I guess it was the
Maybe not.
propeller, and that was an emergency. Did you guys get the sense that that was an emergency, or was it a storm coming or something like that, or?
yeah, yeah. Well,
So-
the way Bob described it, I don't remember completely, but I don't think he would have sat here with that description as an emergency and exaggerated it in any way that it could be said it was a non-emergent. So
So we gotta have, I mean, we gotta have more examples of like that. So that we can go to them and say on these occasions. And we should know what the insurance is. And then, of course, they're gonna say in here, yeah, we've looked at the insurance and yeah, but.
I mean, I know one time Jay Starr had an issue and he drove the boat right into the travel lift because he was sinking. This happened years ago, but it was probably before Great Every Yacht existed, but. Just wanted to say, I have another friend who hit a ledge in Maine one time and drove the boat right in the travel lift. Got lucky that the guy happened to be walking down the dock and had his boat from sinking. So pretty, if you got a serious problem, I mean, I know Jay actually broke the rudder post port on his boat this year and was taking on water and had to haul out. Basically, he was able to keep, it wasn't gonna sink, but it was like, that's kind of emergency.
Yeah,
Like if you're gonna haul out at the boat, at the ramp for some reason, like just for example, Brian's boat, the Kaiser's boat or Bobby's boat can't get down the road because they have the upper station for steering. So they would have to haul out at the dock for that reason. That is the case. So that'd be emergency for them.
well, and to add to your comment, Mr. Brace, Finger Boat Works, uses discretion in determining what constitutes an emergency repair. That kind of, puts the the whole ball in their court in a way, and it gives me the feeling that lack of accountability over the years for Chapter 91 requirements has created a you know, has possibly created like a feeling of we can call our own shots here because we're not being held accountable. And to, you know, if a captain of a boat feels he's in an emergency situation, I would like to hope that Finger Boat Works is not going to contradict that and determine that it's not an emergency. Obviously, routine bottom painting, maintenance, fiberglass repair, et cetera, does not constitute an emergency. That's pretty obvious. Although fiberglass repair could be a leak below the water line, which would constitute an emergency. So,
What does it say in the chapter 91 license about this? You know, if it's. It, I'm just envisioning us having those guys. In before us and saying we want to add some definitions to your discretion because you may not be seeing. An emergency from the perspective of the boat owner. And you should understand that. You shouldn't just look at it and go, well, that's not an emergency when there's the boat owner sinking or has the issue that's an emergency to him. And it's pretty obvious that fiberglass and bottom painting and all that repair it's obvious that's not an emergency unless, of course, you're patching a hole. Which seems like. And Dave had a copy of the license, didn't he? Did he send that to us?
I think he did. But that's, you know, a question for Dave or for somebody to review the license. I'm gonna just jot that down because it's a good question. You know, what does chapter 91 require of GHYC to accommodate emergency haul situations and the discretion thereof?
And to remind, get Bobby to do a detailed description of what happened. What was he saying? It was like it was lunchtime or a wedding or something, so they couldn't haul the boat because.
Yeah.
And they're supposed to haul it whenever, if it's an emergency.
They couldn't leave it there. It's part of it. So the prop got back, I think was the story. Had to go back in the slip. Straight works, they tow it back over with the other boats to do it. Just like a double haul fee, triple haul. Haul it out, put it back in, haul it out, put it back in. Do it. I'm sure it's pretty loosely written in the chapter 91 license. I'm sure it's not super specific as far as. I would think.
And there's also a separation between GHYC and FBW. According to the line, GHYC has no financial input
I mean, they just,
in the FBW.
didn't they just appropriate $630,000 to the town for stuff out of the harbor fund? Why don't they pay the insurance bill?
Right,
Nobody asked. I
Scott?
mean, well, I don't want to give up on this fight for the fuel, because Dave was here, we could ask him more about emergency preparedness. If the big fuel dock is not accessible, somebody has a party, crashes a major yacht, sinks. Last year, though, they lost an anchor off one of those boats. It could have smashed into somebody else if winds pick up. So where are they gonna go? Great Harbor Yacht Club, to where there's no facility or desire right now, or over to Children's Beach.
Mhm. Mhm.
I mean, so it's almost like if we're trying to figure out something, maybe we'd figure out how to work with Children's Beach.
The fuel,
Because if we gave them hours that aren't gonna wake people up in the middle of the morning or middle of the night,
Mhm.
and we kind of restrict it a little bit. If that was all that was the matter over there, people can't stand the beeping. Neither can I with the construction projects around my house. I mean,
Beeping would there be? How many times are they backing up?
You know,
Going forward, they're backing
And
up.
how many,
it's still slipping. All right.
and how many times is there commercial food delivery truck backing up with a white elephant with a beep, beep, beep,
Yeah.
the Cisco and the.
The trash trucks.
UPS, FedEx,
Nobody cares if the fuel truck's coming to their house. They need it.
Right,
Was,
you know,
was-
access points, Scott, are extremely limited as well. And, you know, this is why we, wrote the letter to the land bank about Petrol Landing and, which still, in my eyes, should be some type of option for commercial use. And, maybe even be a third option, for this type of fueling. And, you know, but here again, we're dealing with the aesthetic appeal. And, some neighbors there as well, at least, during the season. But, where accessibility and access areas are so limited, we need to really try to take advantage of, areas that are possible access areas.
has, has fuel ever been sold at the town pier?
So, as somebody said quite some time ago, it's too bad the town pier wasn't created as a solid pier. And barges could pull up there and
Well, you remember, I don't know if you guys remember when, the Great Harbor Yacht Club thing was going on and they were, um,
Sounds gonna buy it.
covered the whole thing. And somebody, maybe it was Tim Savarino, somebody suggested that the Nantucket should be designated a port. And a port is a different designation than the harbor. Isn't that right? I mean, if it's a port, then money can flow to make certain things, and they wanted to make a solid fill. They wanted to, the town, it was about how the town missed the opportunity to turn that area into a port and not do Great Harbor Yacht Club. So the town missed the opportunity to buy that piece of land instead of the JHYC buying it. And there was all this. Anyway, it was sort of after the fact, like we messed up, we didn't get this.
I don't think we pushed hard enough for what
Right,
the island needs. But, at the same time, I don't think the town should be in a whole lot of real estate ownership business. You know, if the town had bought that, just imagine, you know, the maintenance. You know, another piece of infrastructure, would certainly be nice, but we have a town pier and our town pier could actually be modified at some point. Um, but anyhow, we will certainly continue this discussion, Mr. Sherlin, if you can, find out some more information from, you know, an off-island vendor or two, and, Mr. Anderson, if you're willing to dig into more, insurance
I will definitely do that.
type of information, that would be wonderful. Of course, that'll be part of your question in speaking with the off-island vendor.
I have a call with the fire department here tomorrow too, so it's very fun.
Mhm. Okay,
we should all look at that chapter 91 license and see how it really is defined.
yes. Any more discussion? Chapter 91. And or safe transfer of fuel. Any follow-up on, the increase to 7 bushels for commercial based scalpers? We just kept this on here just to, see if there's anything, anybody wanted to add. One of the local buyers, pulled me aside in the grocery store, mentioned it's really a terrible time of year to be doing this, and we should be discussing if we're going to allow larger limits for them to be in the beginning of the season, which we've already decided we will be discussing that prior to next season. So also talked in length about the changing dynamic of the, wholesale industry how bay scallops, are accepted for a while and then. There's some restaurants are turning their nose up, later in the season. To me, that's kind of here nor there. I think, we can get, possibly get nonprofit like NSA involved in helping with marketing in some way. I think some guys have worked out well on their own with marketing. But the only problem with that is, if the off-island niche market connection happens to say, hey, I don't want any more. And the local buyers are like, hey, you committed to your off-island buyer, I'm not taking your scallops. This could turn into a real catch-22 that concerns me. So, I think, this is something we all need to keep in the front of our minds, and get innovative here on how we can make sure there's an outlet for this product from to the end of the season. Mr. Sherwin, anything you could add? How's the 7 bushels? I mean, does it appear everybody's coming back in with
No.
7, or are they making a choice?
Guys did right after the storm there that we had, and I kind of shoot for myself, shoot for 6. If I get 7, I might get 7, but I'm getting 6. But discussing the buyers and stuff. It's kind of the free market, and whatever they're gonna do, whether it's on the island or off island. Maybe like if understand Tucket, but Remain had freezer space, extra freezer space for the different dealers in Nantucket that could maybe share it. Maybe that'd be helpful to them if they knew that they could freeze more and sell in the summer, but they didn't have the space to store them. Maybe that'd be helpful. I don't really know other ways to really.
That was part of the conversation as well, that with the price, the way it's been, nobody wants to make that investment in freezing.
It's a lot of money.
And the shipping has been an issue as well. This particular gentleman mentioned having 13 shipments out that went out on a Thursday. Weather-related issues slowed those shipments down. And he felt by the time they were getting to their destination, the product would be rejected by the buyer. So there's certainly some angles out there that we don't see all of these angles. But and I'd still like to think that just right here in New England and New York, that there's enough market to handle the small amount of product that is being harvested currently.
And it was
Only John Logan were here to get
Right.
all those scallops.
Yeah.
Got them off island for us.
there was 10 boats today, and I doubt everybody got 7 bushels.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's really not that much product.
Yeah.
Generally March is a little tougher. People are less excited about it. There's no holiday where people are going out and eating and
Right.
spending extra money. Like Christmas and Thanksgiving are obviously top of the market for everybody. New Year's, just we'll spend extra money on something special.
But the freezing makes sense
Yeah.
for summer markets, and you'd like to think that with projections every year that there's gonna be a vibrant tourist season, that it's pretty safe to say this product is gonna sell. And if a local restaurant is able to I hate to start throwing out numbers, but a pound of scallops can make how many scallop rolls? A scallop roll's going for $35 to $40 at certain places, and I would say you can probably do about 10 scallop rolls out of a pound.
$35 to $40.
Yeah.
So
Probably
15
30,
scallops in
30.
a hot dog
I
roll.
don't think there's even 15 in there.
35?
Yeah, that's 30,
Really?
35 bucks.
28,
I mean, you can-
35.
If they get at least
The
five,
one where
they
you're
get
going.
at least five out of that.
Then you get tax
Yeah.
and tip.
That's what,
But, I mean, that's for them to
holy,
figure out.
Well, that's
Instead
when
of
you
work.
decide, well, I might as well get a lobster roll.
no, that's
Yeah.
when I decided,
So,
that's when I decided to get the large scallop app at sales, because you got a ton of them,
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
you know,
that's what I do. I just go and get that.
get that.
Yeah.
and-
Think so.
I mean, base stalls are probably the second highest priced meat on the market. I mean, they are. I mean, other than sea scallop, U-10 sea scallops or lobster meat's probably the highest priced.
I had friends
Over shrimp.
that used,
But close to it, I would say, maybe shrimp's higher, certain ones, but
I had friends that used to come here. And every summer they would try and find the most expensive lobster roll. So the most expensive, they had the money to spend. And they would then rate that. And then they'd go work their way down, and they always found that the one that was moderately priced was better than the whatever they.
I think Current did something like that this summer.
yeah, they had a graph,
Yeah.
price versus something.
Well, this is where some collaboration, with a nonprofit would really help, especially on the freezing end of things. And, I mean, the Weldon boys have done it for years, and I mean, I've heard numbers like 4,000 pounds they'd freeze, and between their food truck at Cisco and the Lobster Trap restaurant, by the end of the season, they've sold them all, and, that freezer needs to have a standby generator. Would be a number one necessity. So we all found out very recently how taking electricity for granted is not exactly a place to put your money. But, okay. Not for the 7 bushel discussion. Gonna take that off the agenda. Monday and Tuesday recreational scalloping is our next item on the agenda. I haven't heard anything more. But I'm not gonna write off that there are several people that would like to see Monday and Tuesday open.
From the minutes, Andy, we all pretty much agreed that we wanted to take this up spring, spring into early summer, so they could be, if there was gonna be a change, would be affected before the recreational season.
And,
The
and
bylaws, no, it's
Yeah, it was a bylaw,
we
Yeah,
can't
so
do anything about
So
it.
it'd be next year on the warrant.
right,
it-
but we wanted to have people come in,
yeah,
whoever those people were.
yes,
Sorry,
no, please.
I was gonna say, it's like, some of these regulations that are in place that are bylaws. Maybe it should be changed so that it's like open all the time, but up to discretion of Harbor Shellfish Advisory Board and Natural Resources to determine. Different opening time or
Mhm.
date or bushel limit or whatever, so it doesn't even have to go to select board.
I agree.
I don't think they really care.
Well, honestly, when we went for the bushel limit increase, I was impressed with the feedback from the select board. And I'd like to, give a shout out to Brooke Moore especially for, expressing her concern for the fishery and adding that 7th box, allowable without going back to them. Matt Fee also expressed his concern, about the fishery and its survival, as Brooke did, and, it was a unanimous vote. I'd like to think, they certainly have a lot on their plate. And it would be nice if this type of, decision could be left, up to us and NRD collaboratively, to be able to make. versus having to go before them and add to their already lengthy agendas. But so not to be confused with the next item being the no wake zone solutions, which Mr. Franzuto informed us will require a town meeting vote. So does the Monday, Tuesday recreational scalloping?
I think it does.
Yeah, if I recall that as well, Mr. Brace.
What?
That to open up Monday and Tuesday recreational scalloping, it's gonna require an article in town meeting.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Okay, so these are two items that we need to collaborate with NRD as far as the Monday, Tuesday recreational scalloping. If we're going to move forward with requesting that, who's going to author the articles?
You might consider. I mean, we might consider going ahead with getting as much information as we can now
Mhm,
and because those four people, it's fresh in their minds.
mhm.
They're probably still stewing about it. And if the town was to have a special town meeting in the fall, this might be something we could get on there and then, it could then, and then the bylaw change would happen and then it would happen then as.
True.
So it wouldn't hurt to just
Yes.
have the discussion and explain to people. Or explain to the public that shows up, we're having this discussion now, we want to get all the information we can. In the event that we can get this through sooner or whatever we want to say, but. Because it may. I don't know. I don't want to say how I feel about it now, but I mean, it may all go away. Maybe some of us want it to go away, but. For the people that said stuff to you about it.
So. Clarify, are we trying to open it up Monday, Tuesday all the time, or just when we make an adjustment? In the year, or what is actual?
I think it's from November 1st.
On,
Yeah, not October
I would
1st.
agree it already set a date during the
Yeah,
season.
and this is with due respect to the Shellfish Constable to be able to, I mean, let's face it, Saturday and Sunday are the busiest days out there. So he has to work on those days and so I believe that's why it was designed that way. Mr. Franzuto clarified that as well. So
As well as giving the harbor a break.
yeah. So yeah, at this point it would be from November 1st to March 31st. Okay, so we'll be keeping this on the agenda, Mr. Brace, and trying to solicit some input from the four people that verbalized interest in this on social media. Any more discussion on Monday and Tuesday recreational scalloping? No wake zone solutions. Getting the harbor master to move the no wake buoy further out to the main harbor channel. We've talked quite a bit about this. We've not gotten input from the harbor master on this, but I'm sure we can at some point. I could reach out to her. Mr. Fonzuto made it clear that this is also a town meeting issue. And also, as Mr. Sherwin mentioned, having some type of buoy out there to measure the wave action, some studies to be done. Certainly adds information that could be useful in getting this passed if necessary at town meeting to move the no wake zone out. Honestly, I would like to think that the public if NRD and SHAB were sponsoring this, that the public would see fit to follow suit.
Marine Department might also have some input. on
And
it.
Marine
Yeah,
Department,
Coast Guard meeting.
of course, yes. Okay, Coast Guard. Coast Guard, I think, they can break the rules if they need to, right?
God, yeah, sure. I just meant for purposes of
They have guns.
them having an idea about it.
Yeah. Okay. Any more discussion on the no wake zone? Under new business, we have the eelgrass management plan. With eelgrass priorities. Without her being here, I don't know if there's more to discuss. She gave us an outline at the last meeting, and we'll certainly keep this on here for the next meeting. See if there's more discussion. Our next meeting is March 17th. And even though it's way ahead of time, I will announce this again at our next meeting, but between March 17th and the following meeting, April 7th, that is a 3-week jump versus our normal 2 weeks between meetings. And there will be, I was looking at the calendar for this year, there's at least 3 times when we will have 3 weeks between meetings. The way that first Tuesday falls very early in quite a few months. Anything on eelgrass anybody wants to talk about? Except for how important it is and how much has been lost over the years and how, I mean, you mentioned earlier, Mr. Sherwood, about the 630,000 being granted from Great Harbor Yacht Club. And I was reading the different areas where it's going to, some's to Mariah Mitchell, the eco-friendly moorings, some scientific studying and data creation. I mean, it's all good stuff. There's a new newsletter out there from Dominic Costanza. Have you seen it?
Yeah.
Phrase?
Don't like it.
No, below deck, it's called.
Same reaction.
It seems to be bringing up some, some items that are worthy of discussion.
It seems a lot of AI generation, and there's no names on the people who wrote the things. No bylines, no dates. He's just throwing stuff out there.
All right,
Yeah.
all right. You'd know better than me.
Well, I mean,
I was, more concerned with words that I had to look up on Google, and it's like, if you want to keep an audience, you've got to dumb it down a little bit.
but they did like a sort of a thing during the storm, our most recent violent storm.
Mhm.
A sort of, be careful about this, sort of a basic precautions that those of us living in low-lying areas, which is most of Nantucket. And then they listed all the places that they consider to be low-lying, where there are problem areas, and it was supposed to be for Nantucket, but there are like 2 or 3 low-lying areas on Martha's Vineyard, so it made me think that it was AI coming up with that.
Yeah.
And then there was
Interesting.
there was a,
Oh, boy.
there was something about some discussion going on Facebook between Don and the pilot George Reithoff, and had to do with the land bank, and Don was making a point about the land bank having purchased all this land. He goes, yeah, I know the land bank has purchased and protected tens of thousands of acres, and I was like, huh?
Yeah.
Maybe it's 3,000 acres. Anyway, I just
saw that
it doesn't.
as well. Okay. Well, um, any items anybody can think of to add to the agenda for the next meeting?
I'd like to add something on there, I think, had some interest by some younger people about, apprentice program for base golfing. And I look around the fleet and I'm like, oh, there's not many young people fishing. And I feel that the steps and program may be a little more of a hurdle than it should be for young people to get involved. And I think we should review the regulations regarding that.
Okay, we did reduce the amount of days.
I think there's some other stuff as far as having to show like proof of sale. And there's a couple other things, then they have to do
Proof
a
of what?
proof of sale of catch. And I think there's also a bigger picture requirement or something. I'd like to look at the regulations. I think we're putting up a fence where we don't need to,
Yeah,
because I mean, you know, everybody else is fishing now, you're doing that. I didn't do that, I just went. Got a license to win. I mean, not saying you shouldn't have to go with somebody else.
mhm,
It's a completely good idea, but I think that we got some hurdles there. The confusion by young people trying to do it. And they need to make it simpler.
yeah,
If we want people to do it.
yes. Yes, okay, so how would we title that?
It's the apprentice program.
Review
You,
of apprentice.
You're asking for competition.
Was Chris?
you know what,
Roberts
eventually you
doing
might want some.
Yeah, review of apprentice program,
Was Chris Roberts doing something like that, taking people out and
He may have,
Linda mentioned something to me once.
there's my apprentice.
I know Dylan Wallace has done several people.
Yeah, I mean, he would have a better info, but I was.
Dylan, just, apprenticed, Mark Anderwald, imagine, you know, apprenticing at 63 years old. I think that was actually a year or two ago, he's got his license and, even though he lives, well, he's not on island all the time, but he comes over and fishes
Yeah,
2 or 3 days a week with Dylan.
Hmm.
And, um, you know, I've thought of doing it myself. So, when I scoped, you know, none of this was necessary, so, I don't know if there's any type of grandfathering program in that either, if you. But I never held a commercial base golf license, I simply went as a color. I would, you know, that's the other thing, you know, if you were only to go as a mate and not operate the boat, can there be a little, type of leeway in that to be able to get a guy on board, obtaining a catch? You know, let's call it like a learner's permit
Mhm.
where, you can't operate your own boat, but you can go as a mate.
Well, I mean, the apprentice program, you can take a limit.
Uh-huh.
So you can go as a color and you can get a limit and you can sell them.
Mhm.
You just can't operate your own boat for the first 20 days, which I just think that some of the, just look at it again, there's stuff.
How soon can an apprentice take their limit?
20 days. No, they can take the limit right away.
Oh, really?
Yes,
Ah, so while you're apprenticing, you can
yes,
get your bushel limit
as a. On
as a mate.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. All right, interesting.
Do people know that, or younger
There
people
was some
know that?
confusion about that for a while, because at one point you couldn't, and then it was 2 boxes, and now I think it's a full limit.
All right, well, let's,
But if I'm confused about it, everybody else probably is too.
let's review that, because if it's only two, you know, if you're
Pretty
not
sure it's a full limit.
looking to operate a boat right away, I'd like to think that, you know, just being a mate with an experienced fisherman, you should be able to get your limit. So, do you see any, now years ago, I'm just wondering if this should be added to discussion. I don't want to carry this out too long because it's not on the agenda, but, you know, we're looking for items for next meeting's agenda. So, I mean, you have to buy your license from the town
previous year.
by April 1st.
Yes,
Or
the last day of
March
March.
March 31st, at the end of the season, you have to have, I mean, what type of a hindrance is that? It seems it's, if somebody along the way for the next 4 months, 5 months decides, hey, I really want to get involved. I mean, wasn't that put in place to kind of, back when there were hundreds of people actively fishing? I mean, is this something we should look at as well to help open up the gates a bit? What if somebody moved here in July, starts working for a fisherman, and that fisherman evolves from lobstering to scalloping and wants to stay on?
And they do have the late start hardship thing. I think that starts December 1st though, but
But if somebody moved
That's the
here
go-to.
to start and started working with the fisherman. And that fisherman went on to another fishery. And that person who moved here, wouldn't he have to live here a year before he could? Before it'd be legal for him to fish? Don't you have to be a
Be a
resident?
resident, but
You can't just move here and say, hey, I'm a resident now. I think you have to be. You have to prove that you're a year-round resident, so you have to live here, I think, right?
you do.
I don't know.
You do,
That's a
yeah.
great question.
You do.
That would, pretty much negate what I'm talking about here, I guess. So,
Because if to prove that you're a resident, I'm sure that's a show like utility bills or whatever. And I know the sustainable Nantucket's market, our parameters are you have to be a resident, year-round resident to be a part of the market. You have to live here at least 8 months.
Hmm.
And you have to be able to prove that.
well,
You can't just say you own a house here and you're here on weekends and yeah, I've been coming to Nantucket for 4 decades and let me in, so I think it's. And I bet you'd look it up in the regulations, but it says something about that.
mhm.
Well, one reason I just gonna mention this quick, one reason I want to go over this is because in the fishing industry in general, especially small boat fisheries, like young people trying to get into a fishery, a lot of the fisheries require a lot of money to start as far as permitting. And to get a permit to be able to go, lobstering or conking or sea bass fishing, base golfing, especially in Nantucket, it's like pretty minimal amount of money up front to go with somebody and make money basically right away. Like if you want to go as a color, get your own limit basically. You get pay your $250 town fee and your $40 state permit, and you're basically ready to go. It's like a very low cost entry for young people if they're going to start in any kind of fishery.
Hmm.
Further on,
Yeah.
So it's because you can't just go anywhere like you used to be able to do.
Maybe we should save some of this, but I would want to get, like, if some of the kids who are undecided about going to college or what they want to do, all of a sudden it's like, I can make some more money, maybe I should go down this avenue, because how many people have to work 2 jobs or more? And so creates another opportunity for kids, so that's why to say you have to be like in March.
Mhm.
The kid now is getting out of high school and says, I gotta figure this out.
Zach Codell, that's my cousin.
So for somebody who's already a year-round resident
Yep, he's already.
and decides in July or August, I'd like to go this route. I feel like, this is something worth discussing with natural resources. Get Dave's opinion from way back when this was put in place. I remember when this was put in place, and I really feel it had to do with the amount of people that were out there. It was actually a way to limit last minute decisions and to keep seasoned guys, guys who knew, hey, I do this every year. I have no problem getting my license by March 31st for next year. And just like the bushel limit, the dynamic has changed. within the whole industry, so there's really. You know, a lot for us to discuss, and it would be proactive of us to do so. To do everything we can possible to preserve this industry. In looking out there, you know, I was under the impression that there were more younger people that have apprenticed over the past 5, 6, 8 years. I know Zach Kodolak was apprenticing. Bobby has done a few apprenticeships. But have they stuck with it?
Yeah, it's not.
Or have
it's
they
been for a
dropped
while.
off?
People fall.
And I look at Johnny Holgate as one of the younger guys that's out there fishing, but it's probably really not that young anymore. I mean, his
Johnny's
father's,
30.
huh?
Johnny's 30.
Yeah. He's still young.
Yeah.
Good for him, but he's not, you know, not fresh.
There's only one person younger than him though, so
I'm sorry,
there's only one person younger than him, so that
really?
shows you how many, yeah.
And Zach, I know Zach was
Or
going
Zach.
every winter,
No, let's see.
so,
No, Zach's older than him.
yeah, Zach's a.
He's probably 30 something too,
Yeah.
I think.
I lost track.
Yeah,
All right, well, you know, keep your minds active on, this discussion for sure. That's a wonderful topic, Jim. Thank you so much. You have really, you know, brought in a lot of good topics to discuss here that, and a lot of them have gone places and, a lot of them we're working on going places with, so. Thank you for your diligent participation, Jim, especially.
Peter.
If there's nothing else, I'll accept the motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
Motion's made by Mr. Sherwin to adjourn tonight's meeting. Seconded by Mr. Anderson. Just want to say one more time, our next meeting is March 17th. Following,
Tuesday.
is it? Okay.
No, we're green.
Yeah.
Or
All in favor of adjourning tonight, Mr. Anderson,
Aye.
Mr. Sherlin,
Aye.
Ms. Mayo,
Aye.
Mr. Brace. Aye. Chair votes aye as well. This meeting's adjourned 6:06 PM. Thank you, everyone.